welcome. My name is Michael Bartlett. I am one of the board of directors with NCGR, and I'm very happy to introduce Maurice Fernandez, who will be speaking to today, and who will be speaking at our NCGR conference in Labor Day. I'd like to welcome Maurice Fernandez. He is an astrologer, president of OPA, the Organization for Professional Astrologers. Welcome, Maurice.
Thank you. Welcome for welcoming me, and I'm looking forward to this wonderful conference.
Great. I see you're going to be talking on Jupiter, Neptune cycles, ecstasy, truth, and delirium. Tell me what that means.
Well, the whole year we're under the Jupiter-Neptune cycle, which was seeded basically at the original conjunction in 2009. It was a really powerful conjunction, late degrees of Aquarius, when Jupiter, Neptune, and Chiron were together. And that was right after the 2008 economic crash. And so both Jupiter and Neptune are about moving beyond boundaries, are about the highest spiritual energies. And the greatest challenge is to really integrate that into a time and space reality. So that's what can happen with these kind of conjunctions, or the whole cycle of Jupiter and Neptune is integrating spirit into matter. And that can lead to the ecstasy as well as crashes, as we've seen both expressions, in the past cycle. So we're now at the last quarter square in the course of 2019, leading to the next conjunction, which will be in 2022, 23 Pisces. So in the sign of Pisces that both Jupiter and Neptune are ruling. So that's exciting. There's a lot to unpack about this.
Definitely, because what you're kind of talking about is it's almost like it's the awakening from an illusion to a greater truth in a sense, right?
Yes, and we need to understand that's, as you may know, I wrote a book on Neptune in each house and sign and in aspect to the different planets. So part of what we need to understand is why do we have these illusions, these potential illusions? What is in our own defense mechanism that urges the ego to kind of make up stories or to project, ultimate realities? So the purpose is not just to state, Jupiter and Neptune can lead to excesses or whatnot, but to really understand the core reasons, because it's more complex than what we often associate it with.
Right, and I went to your website and I enjoyed one of the quotes because it talked about in your book how you made it very clear and concise. These are words that one does not use with Neptune and Pisces, or even the 12th house.
Yeah, it's a Scorpio writing about Mercury in Scorpio writing about Neptune. And my moon, which is the ruler of my ascendant, is in my 12th house. So it's that interesting, reflection on this very complex. I think the 12th house and Neptune are possibly the most difficult archetypes to integrate and understand.
As a fellow 12th house, Neptune and Moon person here, I can completely understand. And it's such a great place in which to put one's feet in the water, literally. Being a Pisces aspect, putting our feet in there, but stepping into the deeper waters and wanting to make sense of our relationship, not only just on this physical realm, but like you said, with our spirit. It's integrating those two aspects. It's living here, not projecting that onto other people.
Yes, and speaking about Jupiter and Neptune, that particular cycle has to do with everything that is not material in our own existence. It's going, beyond what meets the eye to these greater dimensions that are very abstract, and that's why we get confused there, because there's no immediate reference to compare it to something we know. So we are in a way in a very amazing, new dimension, but we don't have, a manual to guide us through the ethers. And that's what can, ultimately lead to crisis, because at the end of the day, we are here in time and space. So even though Jupiter and Neptune encourage this expansion, and the expansion of both the physical and the spiritual, at the end of the day, we do need to bring it back to the day-to-day life. And that's what we're trying to do, all of us, because I think we all know there's a greater meaning to our lives ultimately. And that's what we're trying to resolve.
Exactly. I think it's such a great point, because, the point is about trying to find, it's all those ways in which we don't realize what we don't realize. And when you talk about the daily practice, of course, you're bringing in Virgo, like what is our daily practice to create the space that we can actually have that way? It's really beautiful.
And that's why Virgo naturally opposes Pisces and squares Sagittarius. That's a creative challenge. The square is not necessarily negative, but it does show the need to put effort into it. So it's not an obvious connection, but they cannot really do with each other, because Virgo without Pisces is dry and lifeless, and Pisces without Virgo is unmanageable and destructive.
Beautiful point. Beautiful point. Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, it's wonderful to be speaking at the conference. I'm glad this time is going to be summer and not the middle of February. And I look forward to Baltimore. I think, one of the great things as a president of OPA, am also looking forward to do is to cooperate more between the organizations. I hope we continue to grow together and inspire each other. OPA is going to have a program just prior to the conference in Baltimore. It's called the Peer Group. And it's just good, I think, to cross-pollinate this way, to meet each other. Just a small adjustment is, as far as OPA, it's the Organization for Professional Astrology.
So thank you.
Because it's an important confusion that people, think that they have to be a professional astrologer to join OPA, but in fact, it's about the profession of astrology, and whether you're a student, a beginner, or an advanced person. So very excited.
Beautiful, very nice. Thanks for speaking with me today, Maurice, and we'll look forward to seeing you in Labor Day in Baltimore. Take care.
Will do.
Thank you. Blessings.